Can a keto hack help you poop out bad fats in just 7 days? Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Westman and welcome to my channel where I review and debunk nutritional misinformation online. In this video we're going to hear an influencer in the keto world whom I've known and interviewed and has a lot of reasonable things to say, but in this case I'm not so sure. I'm a little skeptical of whether I should teach my patients to do what he's talking about in this video. And I want to introduce you to my mindset, my thought process before I ask or recommend a patient of mine or you to do something. Be sure to stay to the end where I give my final thoughts.
It turns out you could actually get rid of these bad inflammatory fats that get stored in our body through pooping elimination if you drink the following drink with the following ingredients. This is how to poop out so much bad fats within 7 days after drinking this, and I'm going to give you the ingredients, the recipe, and we'll dive a little bit more into why these fats are so bad for us.
Well, so sounds interesting, and it kind of falls into the first category of people want to take something or you want to do something to get healthy, when a lot of what we do when we change our lifestyle is we avoid eating things that are unhealthy. So you're doing a lot of things even though you're not actively taking, pooping bad fat. Well, let's see what he has to say. I'd like to give a big thank you to our friends at Element for sponsoring today's video. Element offers a fantastic science-backed mix of sodium, potassium, and magnesium, essential electrolytes for anyone on a keto diet. In particular, their raw, unflavored version, which comes in the blue, teal-colored package, is a great choice. This specific version contains no stevia, no sugar, or any additives, just the 3 vital electrolytes your body needs, already perfectly measured for you. It's an excellent addition to a keto diet, and more importantly, it tastes great. As you may know, electrolytes play a crucial role, especially for those following a keto or carnivore lifestyle. Element is giving you the chance to try it out with a free sample pack included in any purchase. That means you'll receive 8 single-serving packets at no extra cost with your order. It's a perfect way to test it out and even share Element with a friend. Get yours now at drinkelement.com/Eric Westman. This special offer is only available through my link, drinkelement.com/Eric Westman. You'll also find it in the description below. Now let's get back to the video.
Let's start right here. These fats, called vegetable oils, create more inflammation, arguably, than smoking and sugar. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but this study showed that these bad fats, for example, vegetable oil, fried with French fries, created as much aldehydes, which is cancer-causing, as cigarettes. From Dr. Martin Grutfeld, check out the study. The average 5-ounce serving of French fries produced aldehyde contents that are not dissimilar to those arising from smoking a daily allocation of 25 tobacco cigarettes.
Well, when I look at this picture of the French fries, I see the potatoes and the blood glucose elevation, and we measure blood glucose, not blood vegetable fats. So I've always been a bit of an outsider or skeptic of the potency of the problem of seed oils, and I know a lot of people are, wonder where I've been. Well, I've been around a long time, and I'm still waiting for some sort of experimental human evidence that taking seed oils out just by themselves. So let's say you ate the fries, but changed to a different type of oil, would that be healthier, really? So it's a relative potency here, but okay, let's say that seed oils are a problem. We don't quite know how much of a problem, but you want to get rid of them in your body. There's this kind of almost fear-mongering, I have to say, of, well, when you eat one, it stays in your body for X number of years, and you have to be vigilant, and so, is that really the case? Well, let's assume that we don't want to have seed oils and vegetable oils, and let's assume maybe even we want to poop them out. Let's see what he has to say.
It's meaning 1 French fry cooked in these bad fats is equivalent to a tobacco cigarette smoked when it comes to the potential risk of cancer. That's how bad these fats are.
Well, so this is a lot of extrapolation, and it's also trying to just persuade you not to have something. But anyway, there's a lot of evidence about cigarette smoke. Don't want to go there. Again, let's assume that we want to get rid of seed oils.
Supplementation leads to greater excretion of fecal bile acids and total steroids. This suggests that psyllium enhances the elimination of fats and related substances from the body.
Well, and so now here, if you've listened to my channel before, we talked about the old paradigm way of thinking, like the Earth being the center of the universe, and then the new paradigm of the sun being the center of the solar system anyway, could explain more things. And that's why the science won out over time, that we could predict where things would be by a sun-centered solar system than a Earth-centered solar system. They could actually predict pretty well, but it wasn't as good. So here, the psyllium thing, or fiber in general, we're taking studies of cholesterol being pulled out of your body, bile acids pulled out, as if that's a good thing. I mean, the cholesterol hypothesis and saturated fat hypothesis for heart disease is really still a hypothesis. So I'm not being persuaded by studies of carb eaters. So here is one of the first things that I look for. Has this hack, this thing to do, been studied among people who don't eat carbs? So have you seen a study about that supplement or the whatever that you're being told to eat or drink? Has that been studied among those who don't eat carbs? The metabolism is very different, and you don't want to waste cholesterol in your stool if cholesterol is good for you and it's in every cell and you're trying to maintain your cholesterol. The bile acids are an interesting thing because they are made out of cholesterol and they help you digest fats in your food, and then they get recycled. So this whole psyllium effect is in the old paradigm view of taking fats and cholesterol out of the body. I don't subscribe to that. I think fat in the food is good for you. Again, that's a different paradigm view, and it may be that both are correct, I don't know, but until psyllium has been studied in the context of the our tribe or people who are eating little to no carbs, I'm a little skeptical. Have you ever put psyllium in a glass and then just watch what happens? It does become this gelatinous mass in the glass and in your stomach. I'm not so sure. You want to be sure to drink it fast before it becomes this gelatinous thing.
The second ingredient you're going to add into that cup, 2 cups of water, is going to be 2 tablespoons of flax seeds. Flax seeds can act as a mild laxative due to their fiber content, helping to alleviate constipation without causing dependency. When ground and mixed with water, flax seeds release mucilage, a gel-like substance that lubricates the intestines and facilitates smoother elimination.
I've seen flaxseed used as a mild laxative, and seems reasonable to me if you need something, but for a touted benefit of taking cholesterol and fat out of the body, I'm not sure that's a good thing to do, a good idea. But the studies that we did back in the day was before adding flaxseed or other sorts of hacks. And so at what point am I confident or comfortable adding in something to my recommendations? And I think there should be research behind it. But what is research now? Is it research in animals? Is it research in humans? I think it should be research in humans. Is it formal research funded by the government or other people who don't have vested interest in selling the products? Yeah, that'd be ideal. It doesn't always happen that way. Should the research only be considered if it's published in a peer-reviewed journal and searchable in the PubMed indexing? Ideally, that would be great. But what we're learning now from the grassroots movement of people doing this is that people do things on their own and without the formal process of science and publications. And so I'm torn. When do I say, okay, Ben, what a great idea. Maybe people have tried it on their own. That would persuade me a little bit. But then, of course, you read the comments. Are you going to get the negative comments as well as the positive comments? Do you trust the comments in a YouTube video? So here's the conundrum. But its validity is questionable, but it may be real. 25 years ago, when I looked at the studies, no, there were no studies on the Atkins diet. There were YouTube, no, there really wasn't YouTube. There were pre-post pictures of people who did a low-carb Atkins diet, who published them on the vestigial internet back then. They could have all been lying, but all you had to do was go visit a doctor who used the method, and you saw that it actually worked. So at what point do we let Ben say, okay, do this? Well, let's see what other information that he gives us.
And studies back this up. This study titled Flaxseed, Dietary Fibers, Lower Cholesterol and Increased Fecal Fat Excretion showed the following. Fecal fat and energy excretion increased by 50 and 23% with the flax drink consumption compared to the control group, but only fecal fat excretion was increased with the flax bread compared to the control group.
So are you now in your mind thinking, well, is that fat cholesterol being brought out, or is it the vegetable oils that were touted to be so bad? Is this a selective removal of vegetable oils, or do vegetable oils come out with the cholesterol and the fat removal? I don't know. The idea of lowering cholesterol with a pill or a product, to me, is kind of out of date.
The third ingredient is going to be calcium and magnesium, both together. Here's why. Calcium and magnesium aid in eliminating bad fats by binding to fatty acids and bile salts in the intestines, forming insoluble compounds that the body cannot absorb.
Well, so now I'm thinking, are you going to drink all this at once? Any one of these can actually help with excretion, or are you going to get loose stools as a result? And the fat, do you remember back to the pills that made you poop out the fat? It was Orlistat, and then it went out onto over-the-counter. Ally was another brand name of it. These were Xenical, the brand name of Orlistat. Those were actually binding fats, and if you ate fat, it would come out, but diarrhea was a big problem. Remember those Olestra, the idea that there was a different type of fat and it gave people diarrhea? So, you know, you want to be careful with these kinds of recommendations without some sort of evaluation. Maybe Ben has done it, and I wonder how many other people have done it. But I'm trying, now I see that what's probably going to happen is you get this almost like a pre-colonoscopy effect of removal of stool with loose stools. This isn't looking very attractive to me.
Here is a list of the 9 fats you want to avoid. Remove all of these, avoid these right now. They're everywhere, by the way. Canola oil, called rapeseed oil in the UK. Corn oil. We have soybean oil, cottonseed oil, safflower oil, refined peanut oil, sunflower oil, grapeseed oil, rice bran oil, and yes, fish oil, although it's not a vegetable or seed oil. Highly inflammatory, highly stable. These are the 9 fats you want to avoid as much as possible. You want to swap those for stable, saturated fats and monounsaturated fats that actually make up your cell membranes, lower inflammation, and help you burn fat faster. These are going to be olive and avocado oil. These are fruit-based oils, grass-fed butter and ghee, saturated fats, duck fat, lard, coconut oil, beef tallow, saturated fats.
So I'd like to see a study that compares grass-fed butter to regular butter. I mean, not just the composition of it, but how it affects the human membranes, the level of the membrane, or even the outcome of the entire intact human over time. You know, give it 6 months. I mean, you can tell a lot if there's a powerful effect in just 6 months, or even 1 month. There was a very interesting study recently from the UK where they took people who were in ketosis, fed a UK 261 gram diet like that's recommended of carbohydrates per day for 21 days, and they all went out of ketosis and they had these bad things happen just in 21 days. So if we're talking about a big, powerful effect here, you don't need years to study it. You can actually find it in the short term. Oh, when these 10 women were then put back on a keto diet, all of these things normalized. There was, I think, a pioneering study that took people who don't eat carbs, did all of these studies, blood work, mainly a lot of ketone measurements, fed them carbs, all these things, you know, changed in an unfavorable way, and then they went back to their normal way of eating, of ketosis. Yeah, some people do eat without carbs and are in ketosis. And very interesting. I don't think they were having the super strict kind of diet, but they may have made changes. Actually, it may have been super strict now that I think about it, when there were only 10 people and they were about 30 years old on average. So they may have incorporated a lot of the eating local and not adding processed foods. But don't get me wrong, I like that message. It's just that I think it's working because you're cutting out sugars and starches.
These are much healthier for you. Now, when I go to restaurants, I use this seed oil allergy card, which you can scan and get for free, and I just show it to the server. Look, I'm allergic to these bad fats, and it shows the bad fats. Please swap for the safer alternative.
You know, there are generational differences. Most of the patients who come to me are not going to do this. Well, let's see. Did anyone actually try it? I wonder. It would have been nice to even say, you know, if Ben's saying to do this, I did it, and here's what happened to me. I scanned the top 50 comments underneath the video, and no one said, hey, I did it, it was great. No one actually tried it, I guess. So you can listen to information and consume what seems like a reasonable thing to do based on scientific studies, bringing them all together, or you can wait until someone does a study of that concoction that he's talking about, or even just the idea that other people have tried it before you, or you can try it yourself. Now, this is all saying that these are not hacks to do that have been formally evaluated or vetted through a system of science and then publication, and that is not a trivial kind of process. It takes time, it takes money, I understand that. And this is just food, right? But here's the thing, food really matters. And food should be dealt with like medication, like a drug, if it is reversing diabetes and all of that. It's amazing what you can accomplish. That all said, and if you've waited to the end of the video, my final thought is don't do this until other people have tried it, or if you're desperate to clean yourself out, there are other ways to do it, or you could try this. I'm not ready yet to make a general proclamation to my patients or to you that this is something that's been tested and it's great, it's going to be wonderful, and it really doesn't say that you're going to be targeting just those bad fats. Maybe you'll get all the fats out, but that really hasn't been proven. So I'm not really going to recommend this one yet. Would you? Let me know your thoughts down below. Please like, subscribe. Why not send this to a friend who's worried and fear-mongered about seed oils? Not the thing I'm worried about. And be sure to watch out for new content on Wednesdays and Fridays. If you enjoyed this video, consider joining our YouTube membership for early access and exclusive live Q&As with me. Just click the join button below or support us with a PayPal in the description.